Hello everyone, my name is Binks and welcome back to Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we're continuing in the 5th case of the game. Whew, this is a doozy, y'all. I thought we were really close to being done with this once we pointed out that it was Strongheart who's the Reaper, but nope, this is dragging on because he's really fighting it and we don't have enough proof to get him just yet. But we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. Alright, so we found out about the ring and all of that nonsense. Okay, let's go. What about the ring? I've just remembered something. An earlier incident. What incident? The one I recounted to you before. About the memory I have. Of Genshin Asogi saving my life. Oh! Is that when they took the ring then? Because it had to have happened before the murder of his brother, right? And I kind of was thinking that too. I was like, oh, I wonder who took the ring and when and how. And it looks like it was taken violently, like roughly off his finger, right? But it makes sense if it was taken during the battle when he was busy protecting Barack. Damn, I totally forgot about that. What? My father saved your life? It was 10 years ago on a foggy night. Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. All of a sudden... Don't make a peep, you're coming with us. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scars. The next thing I know, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. Ah. So they shot the ring off his hand? It shielded me. It was on the ring finger of his left hand that he used to wear that ring. Are you saying... I've always believed those dogs were after me. But now I'm starting to question if perhaps I wasn't the intended target after all. So this is all one big setup. Oh, that's awful. That makes me feel really sad. Wait, but... Genshin was arrested 2 days after that attack. And in that short interval, the decisive evidence needed to indict him was miraculously found. You mean the ring was stolen from him? You think that's what those thugs were after that night? But when was your brother killed? Like, between that? Or was he killed before the attack? Oh. Oh. But Kazuma, he didn't know. Van Zieks didn't know. He was fooled. He was hurting and angry. And it doesn't help that your father didn't say anything. He kept quiet. He didn't really fight back or, like, defend himself and say, no, I didn't kill him. Ah. You pathetic coward. You expect me to believe that you weren't involved? What do you mean by that? It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who took it. You stole my father's ring. Kazuma, stop. Let it go. You're so suspicious of him. Oh, he's just so hurt and angry. You set the whole thing up so you could paint him as a mass murderer and have him arrested. Kazuma. Open your eyes. Ryunosuke?
You must know deep down, the truth can be completely obscured, even when your judgment is only slightly clouded. But at the moment, you seem to be floundering through a dense fog. Is that why you were so insistent I should be present in this trial? To see you like this?
Well, this is an amusing spectacle. What a grandiose expression on your face, as if you were Lady Justice herself. It seems you've thoroughly convinced yourself of this alleged fabrication of the autopsy results. So much so that you're apparently blind to the blatant contradiction that would be born out of it.
What?
Though it's extremely hard to believe, let us examine that there were some. Imagine. Let us imagine that there was some misconduct during the autopsy. If that were the case, why would Asogi not have disputed the findings in his trial? Yeah, that's what I just brought up. I'm kind of worried about that, honestly. That's the one thing my brain is like, I think he really did kill Clint, but he didn't kill the other. Like, he's not the professor. But I just don't know why he killed Clint. You know, that's the only thing that's like what happened that they fought? Like, it must have been self-defense is all I can think. That's the only way he would have done it, because he was a good guy. But why would Clint have attacked him? Was there some misunderstanding? Were they, like, pitted against each other because of Strongheart? I don't know, man. I feel like we don't know enough about Clint. That's what bothers me this whole time. He's a victim in this, and he's important, but we know literally almost nothing about him. That really bugs me. I know they're probably doing it on purpose, but I'm like, it feels weird. It feels very strange.
Oh.
In the closed court hearing 10 years ago, the defendant never once denied the claims against him. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? Yes, that is indeed correct. Upon hearing the verdict of guilty, he merely closed his eyes, quietly accepting the judgment.
Maybe he just felt powerless in the system and he knew it was rigged against him and he was being frank. I don't know, man.
The actions of a man who has accepted responsibility for his deeds and is resigned to his fate.
But then... Oh my, that is very strange. If Mr. Asogi did nothing to oppose the charges against him, then... that would surely mean there was no fabricated evidence.
An obvious conclusion at which you should have arrived many minutes ago, Prosecutor Asogi. Your twisted loyalty and clouded judgment are hampering your ability for logical thought.
Ugh.
Genshin Asogi's silence at his hearing can mean only one thing. There was no fabrication of evidence during the autopsy of his final victim 10 years ago.
Ah! After all of this work. Come on, man. Okay, is this where we have to pull the bunny ears? Because this is getting really frustrating. I want to make more progress, but I feel like after, like 2 steps forward, like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's what it feels like right now. Ah. But if that autopsy was all above board, there'll be nothing to stop Lord Strongheart bringing this trial to an immediate conclusion.
Objection!
Oh? Okay. Yeah, you feeling okay now? You back to yourself? Because you haven't been yourself for a while. You've been so shaken and thrown off. I miss the old confident Kazuma. I'm really happy if it comes back right now.
Thank you, Ryunosuke. If it wasn't for your frank words just now, this trial may very well have ended prematurely. Kazuma? What's this latest absurdity, Council? My lord, your reasoning is perfectly sound, but for one giant hole. I beg your pardon?
Yeah, the music's back. Let's go, Kazuma.
You claim my father's silence was due to the fact that there was no fabricated evidence. But there's another possible explanation. You've overlooked the possibility that he had a reason for maintaining that silence,
Right? Like, was he coerced? Was he threatened somehow?
Objection!
silence that would lead to him being convicted and sent to his death. If the autopsy results were an invention, there's no conceivable reason why the man wouldn't have protested.
Objection!
Oh, those results were an invention, all right. There's no question of that. Or are you forgetting that 2 people with a connection to that autopsy have been assassinated? If I force the grievances I feel from my mind, I start to see you in a very different light.
As a pawn in this game, yeah.
I think perhaps it's you who's been living in delusion these 10 years. Me?
Kazuma-sama has created one last chance for us here, Mr. Naruhodo. If we can only show there was a reason for his father's silence in his trial. A reason why the man would have said nothing, even though he was innocent. Yeah, it goes back to the papers, right? But we know that there's like something missing. The only weapon he has left, like there's some kind of proof in here. But I feel like it's not all there. Like something got taken, right? I don't think this is complete. I think there was another page or something. Feels shady. Feels very shady.
Could it have been part of some negotiation, perhaps?
Yeah.
Enough rhetoric. The court must be shown evidence. What proof do you have that could possibly explain Asogi's silence in court?
Where is it? The papers?
Take that!
This is the defense's answer to that question. No? Uh-oh. Oh.
As I indicated before, my patience for rhetoric is growing thin.
You could have at least accompanied that penalty with an explanation of why that answer was wrong. If Kazuma-sama's father knew that the evidence being used to convince him was fabricated, why would he have said nothing in his trial? If it were me, I'd have protested my innocence until I was blue in the face. Okay. So if we're right about the autopsy results, there must have been a strong reason for his silence. I don't have any way of saying, like, maybe his son was being threatened? Well then, perhaps he was saying nothing in exchange for some sort of clemency? Clemency? That could be it. My lord, the defense would like to... Alright, clemency. What is the clemency? I don't know. Let's look for stuff about the professor and Genshin. Huh. Ring. What is this again? This is when he lost his job. Yeah, this is when Vigil lost his job. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Got it. So that's what they're saying. This was his negotiation in order for him to escape. Okay. I didn't know that was... I forgot that was in there. That makes sense. So he was willing to stay silent in order for them to help him escape. Okay. Which it has to be Caden that he did that with, right? Because we know it wasn't Vigil. It's true that Genshin Asogi's silence during his trial resulted in his conviction, but that didn't actually lead to his execution. On the contrary, it led to his escape. An escape that was only possible because he'd been sentenced to death. Although I find it hard to believe my father would have negotiated in that way, the defense is correct. A fake execution, falsification of a death certificate, and a jailbreak inside a coffin. Clearly, such an elaborate plan couldn't have been carried out by my father alone. He must have had the help of a collaborator from the judiciary. But who came up with this idea? Because, like they're saying, I feel like his father wouldn't have even thought of that because it doesn't feel very honorable. And he seems like an honorable man. I don't know. This all feels like he was forced into this. I have here the dismissal notice of the chief warder who was working in the prison at the time. The notes read, there are indications that the jailbreak was in planning prior to the inmate's incarceration. In other words, there were suggestions of some sort of negotiation between Mr. Asogi and the British government. Yeah. You, I bet. You're the one who gave him the stupid idea, didn't you? You told him, we'll fake your death, we'll let you get off scot-free if you kind of take the blame for all of these murders. Which is strange, right? Why would he be willing to take the blame and fake his death? That's very strange to me. The only reason I can think of is if he was trying to protect someone. But I really don't know who? Does this go back to Jigoku? I don't know, man. In exchange for his silence in court, he was given an assurance that he would be broken out of prison. Yes, with that sort of clandestine agreement in place, I can imagine he would have kept very quiet. I would go further than that, in fact, I would say that the elaborate jailbreak of Mr. Asogi can be explained in no other way. And then they betrayed him. They betrayed the deal, and they had it already planned and set up for somebody to be waiting for him outside the coffin to shoot and kill him, right? To silence him. Because that's clearly what happened.
Order, order! First, fabricated evidence, and now a jailbreak conspiracy.
Of course, because it's all intimately linked.
The
prosecution wishes to summon new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses. People who can testify about the jailbreak that took place 10 years ago. Oh. Caden. Ah.
Governor Caden?
Oh, and poor Vigil again. Oh my god, we can't leave poor Vigil alone. Oh, this poor man.
And the poor chief warder of the prison.
I won't allow this trial to turn into a farce, to summon the governor of the prison after all these years.
Oh, it wouldn't be any trouble, my lord.
What? Don't tell me Holmes has them ready. They've been waiting outside this whole time. Oh, Holmes is like, yeah, I've got the... That's why he's been busy. It's like he's been running around gathering everybody involved and like, okay, you wait here and you wait here and you'll be called up eventually. Oh my lord. He's like 10 steps ahead. What?
Father?
My dear friend may appear a little rattle-pated at times, but I can assure you he's extremely thorough. He wired both Barclay and the local prison earlier, asking Governor Caden and Mr. Vigil to attend the Old Bailey as a matter of extreme urgency.
Poor Vigil, man. He can't catch a break.
Mr. Holmes did that?
Are you telling me that?
Both men are, unless I'm much mistaken, waiting just outside the courtroom at this very moment.
Whee! The ever-turning wheel of witnesses! My lord, you must permit this trial to proceed as you declared at its outset. You promised that we would stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. He's like, I've never hated my own big mouth more than now. Very well. Bring in the witnesses. Make no mistake, I too would like nothing more than to lay this business to rest once and for all. Damn, this is long. We keep going and going. Energizer bunny. Oh, my poor mouth and throat. More voice acting. I mean, Caden. Doing my Scottish accent. No! I was hoping to never have to voice you again. It's okay. It's almost over, Binks. It's almost over. Would the new witnesses state their names and occupations for the court, please? I, Barry Caden, Governor of Barclay Prison. Vigil, you're not gossip, honey. Okay. And I'm not gonna do the freaking lip thing because he's not wearing it, thankfully.
Everyone calls me gossip. I tell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by.
Calm down, Vigil. He's probably doing this as a self-defense mechanism, you poor man.
Your other persona, if you don't mind.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. Of course.
You poor man. He's actually kind of adorable, though. I feel so bad for him.
My name is Daily Vigil. I used to be the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
Voicing him is easy, though, thankfully. It's comfortable for me. The reason you've been summoned here to court today is to testify about the jailbreak of the so-called professor 10 years ago. Losh! Professor! We've already been through all this before, a decade ago. And the conclusion was that there was not anything untoward happened.
A convict escaped from your prisoner, Governor. From your prison, Governor. Hardly what you'd call nothing untoward.
Well...
The convict's death certificate was somehow falsified after he was allegedly executed, and he escaped the prison inside his own coffin. A plan of that complexity could never have been carried out without the help of somebody of influence inside the prison.
Governor Keaton, don't imagine that the passage of time will afford you any protection. If it turns out that you were involved in the plot to break Mr. Asogi out of your prison, then of course, the consequences will be very serious. In all likelihood, a capital punishment.
God's hold on there, laddie.
Witness, Governor Keaton.
Aye, sir.
Oops, did not mean to click on that.
You have a critical role to play in the public safety of our country. A great responsibility to shoulder. The significance of your testimony in court cannot be understated. Therefore, think carefully before you speak.
No. Stop intimidating the witness. That's some BS.
And Prosecutor Asogi, if you threaten the witness again, you will be held in contempt of court.
My apologies, my lord.
There's no disputing the fact that an intricate jailbreak plot was enacted 10 years ago. Clearly you were both involved in some way. So you will testify before the court now and explain exactly what took place.
Very well. Let the witnesses give their formal testimony. Tell the court everything you know of the plot to break Asogi out of Barclay 10 years ago.
It was the day that Japanese Jock was found guilty. The directive came from the prosecutor's office. I assigned the convict to the chief warder vigil here, and put the plan into action behind the scenes.
I was responsible for Asogi, right up until the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plot.
I don't know if there were some negotiations between the convict and the prosecutor's office. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire.
A directive from the prosecutor's office. Are you saying that was the jailbreak plot?
Aye, that's right.
Who sent it? Who authorized that plan?
We know, come on. It's that man over there, the Reaper. I do not know that.
You're saying you don't know?
Listen, there was nothing about the professor case that was not unusual in some way. I did not ask any questions. I just did what I was told to do. More than that, I could not tell you.
I see.
But if the jailbreak plan originated from the prosecutor's office, then one thing is very clear. As suspected, there were clandestine dealings going on between Mr. Asogi and that office. The jailbreak was promised in exchange for Mr. Asogi admitting to crimes he didn't commit.
That, counsel, is nothing more than speculation on your part. So, let me ask the defense.
Oh, yes, my lord.
I fail to see how these witnesses have any more pertinent information here. Do you intend to assert your right to a cross-examination?
Absolutely. I have no intention of squandering a single opportunity, my lord.
It seems all you Japanese are fiercely tenacious. Very well. Proceed, counsel.
Alright. What we got? Directive came. You were assigned. I don't know. I feel I have to press something. Maybe this one?
Hold it!
You've already acknowledged that orders came from the prosecutor's office to arrange for the man's escape. There must have been some sort of negotiation. It's the only explanation.
Very well, be that as it may. I do not know nothing about that. The witness stand is no place for telling what you don't know for sure. I know that much I do.
Then I presume you also know this. Not telling what you do know is a criminal offense.
Huh.
So you were just following orders, is that it? I'm afraid that won't absolve you of guilt here.
The man was still killed illegally, even if he was a condemned criminal. He may very well be found complicit in murder, Governor.
So that's what it's to be, is it? Even with the threat of conviction, you won't break your silence. Uh...
I don't think it's Vigil. I think you have to go after Caden, so...
Hold it!
I'm just gonna press all of his statements then. So, Mr. Vigil, you didn't know anything about it at all?
That's right. When they wrote in the scheme was as a scapegoat. That's right, isn't it, Governor?
Mm-hmm. You feel guilty, that's why you don't want to look at him.
Some poor beggar had to take the rap for it.
Alright then, who else did know about the plan?
I've the first idea, laddie. My part in the whole business was basically just dealing with the aftermath. But I would not be surprised if there were some other folk in the prison service who'd been given similar orders.
So you don't know who else was involved?
Aye, that's right. All I can tell ya is that the night it actually happened, the person at the brains was Dr. Stevens.
Dr. Courtney Stevens, or Dr. Scythe as she's known now.
Ah, why did I have to get caught up in such a terrible business?
Sorry, man. Okay, I don't think it's you, so... it might be the first statement. But felt similar to the other one? I don't know. Did you carry out the plan in its entirety?
Aye, I did everything I could at the time.
As you know,
Genshin Asogi was shot dead in Lowgate Cemetery after the escape. Tell me, was that part of the plan too?
My instructions were to do with getting the jock out of the jail and nothing more. I cannot tell you anything about what happened after that, only personally I believe his death was the last part of the plan.
oh, Okay. Finally, we got something. You okay, Vigil?
Excuse me.
Mr. Vigil, is something wrong?
He's doing his freak out.
Ugh. Oh! Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? He's saluting now? What is it? Some sort of Barclay convention?
Oh, I have to sneeze.
Excuse me. Okay. Is it done? What Governor Caden was just saying seemed to upset you. Did it bring something to mind, perhaps?
Sorry. Ooh, all of a sudden.
For the last 10 years, I've...
Uh-oh. No? Ugh. Allergies, no.
For the last 10 years, I've completely blotted out the memories of that time from my mind. I was betrayed by my superiors in the name of my country.
Yeah, I feel really bad for you, dude.
Just as my father was betrayed, it seems. But you see, thinking back now, I really can't imagine that the shooting of Mr. Asogi in the cemetery was ever part of the plan.
Really? Then who did it?
What makes you think that? Well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? To make the man admit to crimes he didn't commit with the promise of a jailbreak, only to kill him in the end. That's treachery of the worst kind. But the point is, if the intention was always to betray him, why would there be any need for all the chicaneries of an escape?
I don't know, man. This man's crazy. And I don't know. I don't know. He didn't want Asogi to fight back, right? They wanted him to go along with it up until a point.
Ah. Yes, that's quite true.
If whoever negotiated with Asogi never intended to keep his or her end of the bargain, it would have been far simpler just to let the man be executed in prison as dictated by his sentence.
But he must have, like, if you look at his will, right, or what he had said about his weapon, right? That has to be it. Whatever the only weapon I have left, because he had to have something to negotiate with. And that's what they were searching for. They were searching for the papers for a reason. And that's why they couldn't just kill him until they were able to get the papers, I guess, and then they were able to kill him. I don't know what was in those papers, though. He must have known, something about Strongheart or something? I don't know.
It all happened in that vast chamber of secrets that is Barclay, behind the high prison walls. I suppose nobody knows what really went on in the execution room now. Yes, it's an unsettling mystery, certainly.
Truth be told, there's a wee matter that's never quite made sense to me.
Oh? You actually feel bad, Caden?
If you believe there was some kind of negotiation behind the jailbreak between Asogi and the body at the top, it does not quite add up, does it?
Governor Caden, I must insist that you explain these doubts that you have by amending your formal testimony.
Gods. Aye, go on then.
He's not happy.
It seems to me that the Japanese fella did not have nothing to bargain with.
Ah, here we go. Yes. About, like, when you're gonna negotiate, you need to have something to negotiate with. Here we go. Let's start talking about the papers. Finally.
Objection!
Confessing under oath to murders he didn't commit on a verbal assurance of later being broken out of prison. Genshin Asogi was taking an incredibly risky gamble.
Very true. There was nothing to stop the British breaking their word and executing him behind closed doors anyway. Under normal circumstances, no man would stake his life on a gentleman's agreement like that.
Which means that Mr. Asogi must have had a trump card. Something that guaranteed he wouldn't be betrayed. Some kind of weapon.
Havers. The fella could not have possibly have had anything like that.
But you know that he did, Governor. The Asogi Papers. The name given to the last will and testament of Genshin Asogi.
Ah,
Turns out that Mr. Asogi was hiding his will in his cell at Barclay. Chief Warder Vigil caught him with it one day.
you squealed, did ya, you wee rat? Did I not tell you to keep that a secret?
Oh, you have some nerve. Leave him alone. You already used him as a scapegoat and now you're doing this?
You can't touch me now.
Ah!
When Mr. Vigil caught sight of that will through the bars of the convict's cell, Mr. Sogi pleaded with the warder.
Alright then, but what's on that paper? A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now.
A weapon?
And after that convict had been killed following the elaborate pretense of the jailbreak, that document mysteriously disappeared, didn't it?
Well, yes. All the prison warders searched through the belongings in his cell, but that will was just nowhere to be found.
As I understand it, an exhaustive search was made for the document, which became known as the Asogi Papers. Governor Caden, I believe you ordered your prison staff to find it at all costs, didn't you? Would I be right in saying that you knew? You knew that the so-called Asogi Papers had the potential to make great waves somehow.
Jings, what at the blazes are you blathering about? The will was found, right and proper. In the fella's cell where I said it would be.
Ah! He did the play.
But how can that be? We're in his cell.
You'll search the place from top to bottom. Ow!
Well, you did not do a proper job, you peely-wally galoot.
You can't criticize me now.
I showed it to you afore, did I not, you lawyer?
Yes, you did. I have the document here. It's written in Japanese and reads, "The Last Will and Testament of Genshin Asogi."
Which means everything is as it should be.
Not quite, my lord. You see, there's an undeniable inconsistency here.
What? What inconsistency?
Mr. Asogi described this document as the only weapon he had left. And yet this will contains nothing of significance at all. Nothing that would have given the convict any leverage.
Are you suggesting, my learned friend, that the last will and testament stored at Barclay Prison all these years is actually a fake?
As has clearly been demonstrated already, what went on at Barclay Prison was far from above board. I don't think it was fake, but I think there's a page missing or something.
That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system.
Oh, shut up. Y'all are shady as hell.
This absurd notion of a weapon is something for which we have only the former Chief Warder's word. The man could quite easily be lying, or at the very least sorely mistaken.
What? No, I definitely heard him say that, I swear.
Clearly, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to know exactly what happened with those so-called Asogi papers.
A waste of time. If the will was fake, where's the real document?
Objection!
Mr. Vigil was stabbed in the back by the judiciary 10 years ago. He lost everything, very nearly his own life. And now you're going to do it again. You're ready to brand him a liar and turn your back on him without even letting him defend himself. Yeah. Defend him.
It's clear that Barclay Prison is hiding something. It's clear that the jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the prosecutor's office.
It's clear that some illicit negotiations took place. So Lordship is just going to gloss over the facts or something.
What did you say?
We should hear more from the Chief Warder. Have him testify again. The trial must go on. The man's voice must be heard.
It would seem that a vocal few here are utterly blind to the truth. Very well then, let the witness testify again. Tell the court precisely what you think you saw of the convict's last will and testament.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Did he see something else?
As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asogi and kept watch over his cell. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail.
I only found out about the Asogi papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called.
Oh.
In his kimono? That's a lie. We searched every inch of the man's cell. We looked through all his clothes. It can't be true.
Were you not satisfied with calling me a liar the once, eh, you wee waffinger?
Ha! There's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have any hold over me anymore. Other than the hold you like to take on my cravat, of course. Is that what you're going to do? Is it?
He's moving as if he's being held.
Are you going to give me a good shake again? Or are you too scared?
Ah!
Little and large. What a double act.
We complied with Asogi's will as far as was possible. All of his personal effects were delivered to his family home in Japan, as a courtesy to the homeland of the most notorious killer our country has ever seen. And we were much obliged. I could confirm that all my father's belongings arrived safely.
Aye, and you cannot deny the handwriting is that of your old man, eh?
Yes, there's no mistaking that it's my father's brushwork.
Really?
And this last will and testament was the man's last weapon, was it? I think we can safely assume that the convict was merely prattling, knowing that his end was nigh. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. I don't know, man. I'm tired. Can I be done? I need a break. I don't know. I think I have to. I normally go to an hour, but I'm tired and my brain is just like, I don't know. Let me stop here before my brain explodes. So, oops, I meant to click something else. So yeah, we will cross-examine in the next episode. Dang, this is going much longer than I thought it would. I thought I'd be almost done. I don't know. How much longer you think, you guys? Do I have enough for, like, next week? Like, 2 full episodes worth, you think? Another 2 full hours worth? Because that's what it's feeling like. Which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. But, ooh, this is a doozy. I feel like we're getting closer, but I don't know. I've been wrong before. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this, and until next time, hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.